Hello, everybody. It's another week, another time to watch trailers. It's like taking your vitamins, gentlemen. We need to watch our trailers. We are GameTrailers.com. I am Brandon Jones, and if you got the time, let's all go to the trailers. I'm joined by Mr. Ryan Stevens.
Flintstone Kids.
And Mr. Kyle Bosman.
Hello, everybody.
Or is it Flintstones?
Flintstones.
With the Flintstones, kids.
Yeah.
We can do this because it's audio format. We can sing catchphrases.
We're going to watch 3 of the best or most interesting trailers of the week and talk about some other ones that you should check out. To kick things off, we're going to talk about a trailer we've actually sort of previously talked about on the show, and that is...
Twas teased.
A trailer for Risen. And I first want to talk about this strategy of showing just a little bit of the trailer and then showing the full thing later.
Okay.
Which I'm not a huge fan of, but if you have to do that, at least let us know that we're going to see the full trailer later. Because I thought this brief little skirmish with the little Spike Wolf thing was something that was it. That was the part of the trailer before. But it was actually just a small slice of this full epic trailer, which I also have problems with. But I'm curious to get your opinions before I get started. What do you think,
I think
Kyle?
actually, so a good example of that could have been God of War 3, which I think showed a little bit of its trailer before it finally did the whole thing. And in that case, they showed you something interesting in the little teaser, and then the full thing blew it open, and it gave you a whole new perspective on what you saw before. Previously, we saw this guy fighting a wolf, and so I didn't even know it was the same guy, and here it is. This is what we saw before. We're already there, and it's like the least interesting part of what this trailer is.
This made me really want to watch Willow again. You ever see Willow?
Oh, of course.
You know, and well, you haven't seen anything. But
Okay.
when he throws the little vial at the bad guy and
Yeah.
it's completely ineffective, I was thinking of those stone acorns. Whatever. Like, Risen's a budget title, and they've probably spent way too much of their budget making this CG trailer. It's definitely lackluster. I wouldn't say it's awful. I do like that there's actually some flow to it. There's, like, do you remember we had that... Was it Elder Scrolls Online that had, like, the 10-minute fight trailer? Like, way earlier when we were doing this. There was some...
Yeah.
And it's like 10 minutes of, like, awesome fighting, but after a while you just get numb to the awesome. At least this is, like, an appropriate amount of time, and the guy is kind of, like, down on his luck. Like, I like how his sword breaks and stuff. It actually has a couple of nice beats. Even though, all in all, it doesn't really have that much oomph, I don't think it's actually completely awful.
The point that I want to make is, unless you can break your sword in Risen and then use it as a weapon later, which I guess is kind of a cool mechanic, why are we watching any of this? And the trailer doesn't really set that up. It's like,
Why? That's
called-
like every CG trailer
the game's
ever.
called Titan Lords. Is this a Titan Lord that he's fighting? Is that what the game is about? Is going to kill Titan Lords? So if it was that would be interesting. If it's set up like this boss fight is what you're going to be doing in the game, using these little crystal shards as magic spells. Like, is that important? Is that something that we should know that's different than previous Risen games?
The other trailers this actually reminded me of were the good CG trailers from the Witcher series, where they didn't really reference in the game themselves, but they actually kind of made the plot. Like, do you remember the I want to say pirate ship, but it's just a ship, and everyone basically gets frozen and the king gets killed?
Yeah.
Like, that was such a great trailer, and it had a little bit of bearing kind of to the backstory of Witcher 2, but it really didn't matter all that much, but in itself it kind of told a story. I think, again, this thing kind of fails to actually tell a story. It's just it's a little scene, but it has some okay moments. I don't think it's completely awful.
You brought up the budget, obviously. The CG is pretty good in this trailer, and obviously this wasn't cheap. And so, I wonder why you're doing something that you can, like you were saying, Ryan, become so easily numb to. Yeah, fights, yeah, swords and spells, and got it, and he thought the fight was over, but this thing was more powerful. I mean, from 3 seconds into this trailer, I was like, what are you doing, dude? Get out of there. Like, you're just some knight. What chance do you have against this thing?
Well, he's got glowing blue hands.
Yeah, he was holding back the whole time. He actually has blue magic. He just didn't want him to see it.
Blue
yet.
sparks, man.
It's interesting to set up the action sequence and be like, okay, so you can be a warrior, and he has fire spells that don't really do anything, and then you have, swords that aren't really actually well made. It just is a weird. I don't understand this. I don't see the sell here. Like, this is an exciting thing, just like using magic and knights fighting things with swords, always exciting. But again, if this is your sole CG trailer, I don't understand.
I do
what they
think
were
the
trying to
character
do.
design's okay. Like, I like this guy's kind of cleaved, the bad guy, skeleton guy's got that kind of the cleaved head, and I think the little wolf looks okay. I mean, the main hero, he's a human, whatever. He's kind of...
He's us. That could be us inside of that helmet.
Are you identifying?
I give this a 5. Because CG is really good, but it just kind of sits right in the middle of the bar for me, where like it just doesn't push past that number as far as interest goes.
So I'd actually give it a 4 because I'm frustrated about how like pointless it is. You know, like it is really nice CG, and it makes me angry that it doesn't do they don't do anything with their expensive CG. And then I got to be consistent. I got to remove 0.5 points for ending it with pre-order now. So this is a 3.5.
I'm giving it a 6. I think at least it's quick. I don't really feel like it wastes my time.
Am I wasting your time right now, Ryan?
No. I think I think that Elder Scrolls Online.
Because we watched it 3 times already.
No, I kind of like it. I also kind of have a soft spot for Risen.
Howdy, I'm an omnipotent voice from Insomniac Games. Today, I want to introduce you to our newest franchise, Sunset Overdrive.
I was a little hesitant in bringing Sunset Overdrive into the show because it is a quote-unquote gameplay trailer, but it is a trailer, and I'm sure a lot of people this week are going to be talking about Sunset Overdrive.
It's a dev diary, right? I mean, that's how we'd classify it. It's a guy speaking over it the entire time.
Yeah, when I think dev diary, I think cameras. I think we're getting into the studios. We're seeing people at computers rendering things and spinning 3D models. And
I don't know, when they're talking to you directly, it doesn't seem quite like a trailer to me. Like,
it's definitely a bizarre in between, but he's hard selling.
No,
the
I mean,
game.
like we say these are all trailers, quote unquote trailers. But
Yeah.
to me, I don't know. This is internal GT politics, but I kind of throw this as a dev diary.
I would call it a gameplay trailer with developer narration. All we're looking at is gameplay, you know. So, but it is a trailer, and I want to talk more about the trailer itself than the actual game.
Absolutely.
I think the tone is a little wacky in this trailer, and not wacky in a good way.
Oh no.
I think you should either be really serious about telling me about your game, or hire like a funny actor like Gary Busey, who is selling Saints Row. But don't do the middle. Don't have like
Some guy in
do
the
we know who
office.
this is? I actually wasn't paying close attention. Does he introduce himself?
He doesn't. He calls him.
Well, he kind of does.
He's what is he? He says he's a
Anonymous Insomniac employee.
no, what's a word where it's like you're omniscient? He called himself omniscient, I think.
I thought he said anonymous.
Anyway,
so
he's
just
somebody
how
who
like
works.
the king is the omniscient ruler of Burger King. Like
He-
it's just a weird disconnect.
He works at Insomniac, whoever this guy is.
I don't
and
believe
clearly
that.
this isn't his job normally. Is to
Maybe
do
you're just
VO
feeling a
for-
little threatened. There's some VO guy over at Insomniac.
I've
and
never done
he's
a VO
encroaching on you.
I've never done VO for trailers before, so anyone that gets that opportunity gets a one-up in my book. But it's a little too cheeky. I think it doesn't need to be. The game already takes care of all of that and then some. So I think if you actually are kind of not boring, but are kind of just you downplay what you're explaining, like here's the game, this is what you can do, you can use these weapons, then I think that'll have a really fun play against. Like, for example, we just looked at him being respawned. That's a fun idea, that every single time you are respawned in a battle, it's a different animation. I'm sure there's, only so many of those to go around, and they'll get repetitive eventually. But that's clever, and so if you say, and there are different ways that you can respawn, and then show me the joke. But if you say a joke to set up a joke, and then there's more jokes, I need not jokes. If it's all jokey all the time, I start to not take it seriously.
I believe his joke was, "Welcome to the next generation of respawns." It's like, oh my gosh, dude.
I don't need that writing.
Well, I mean, the humor may not be particularly on point, but I mean, it is appropriate with the tone of the game. I don't know. They had that first trailer at E3 last year, which I think everyone, especially coming off of, oh god, what was the crappy game Insomniac just made?
Fuse.
I think coming off of that, people were kind of like, also with all the the kind of just the negative vibe hanging over Xbox One in particular, I feel like that trailer was not well received at all. Also, it kind of reminded people of Loco Cycle, which is also, not a good thing. And here they're revealing the gameplay and they're trying to ground it in some severe context. I mean, this is really a developer walkthrough because they're going over very specific things in a one-to-one, this is this is this. So I think it's actually somewhat successful. I do think it definitely misses some tonal notes. This looks interesting, but I'm still not particularly signed up. I know a lot of people are like, give it to me now, but I don't think it's a complete misstep.
I think not having it be actually someone from the team is a huge mistake. I love that there's a ton of gameplay. I love that they're actually showing us what the game looks like. A ton of it. I mean, this is a huge video. We're getting to the end of it now.
But it is someone
it's almost 4 minutes.
It is someone from Insomniac. What do you
I
mean?
don't believe that. I think it's an actor because who knows? We have no proof of it. And what's the point of not telling us?
I don't think he's good enough to be not an actor.
Then let us know who you are. What? Like, what if you had your show, Kyle, and you were like, I'm not going to tell you my name or show you my face, but trust me, I work at GameTrailers. And
Yeah, I know, that's
watch
part-
my
that
show.
part's
That's what we did for...
and trust what I have to
that's what
say.
we did for like 7 years.
And I'm not going to be reading this off the cuff because clearly I'm reading pre-written jokes. The whole thing is just really fake and distant and it doesn't endear me to the development process of this game. It makes me feel like I'm being spoon-fed like lots of chocolate. It's too much.
Any thoughts on the game itself?
Looks like fun. I'm getting a Jet Grind Radio.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Vibe from it, and I love SSX. I was never a big Tony Hawk guy, but I love shooters. I love goofy sports games, and this kind of looks like a weird cross between the two.
Kyle, did you get any insight from talking to Huber about this one?
Huber's
Huber
into
saw
it. Huber's way into it. Tonally, this is a bad trailer. Basically, they show like concept art, and they say, here's some of the other enemies who are gonna kill you. And that, like, to me, you're right, Brandon. It's like, what? Why this attitude? This part. Here's some enemies gonna kill you. Like, what? Don't show us concept art.
Well, another good example.
You don't like being teased? I mean, they're showing so much now.
It's a weird thing. Maybe because we don't ever get this. We don't get a gameplay reveal that's narrated by some dude who works in the office. That's just kind of. I think he nailed it in that, like, they're aware that their last game stunk. They want people to know they're human beings. They're aware that they're an Xbox One exclusive, and they're trying to show, hey, we're Insomniac. This is I think the culmination of 20 years of experience is another line he says, and it does come off like that. It's like, hey, we're people. Here's our game. We want you to like us and like our game, and that could have been it, but. A weird mix of emotions.
It is totally an Insomniac game, though. Like crazy weapons,
Oh, sure.
It's got those. It's got the Chimera from Resistance.
Yep.
And it's gorgeous.
And I mean, this looks like it's gonna. I don't remember if they said this. Totally looks like it's gonna support co-op.
So without the snarkiness, I'd give this in the 8s, but I gotta push it lower than that. I'd give this a 7.8. Even though it looks exciting, and once again, thank you, Insomniac, for showing us a ton of gameplay. That is very effective. To be like, this is not just something we're pitching here. Wow, look at all the work we've done. Look how good you can get playing this game. Look at all the different weapons that you have. So tons of stuff. I like that, but just the tone really pushes it down for me.
No, I get it. It is a not a good trailer. Because we're reviewing trailers, right? Pre-order got a knock at 0.5. Exclusive in-game items, give me a break. I guess would have been a 7 because they do show a ton, but man, 7 if you watch it with no volume. If you turn off the volume, you're gonna have a way better time watching this trailer. So 6.5, turn off the volume.
Even though I don't want to play it, I'm going to give it an 8. I think just laying on this much gameplay and this much explanation is what I care about. I mean, we've already been teased with the trailer. If you look at the whole like narrative of releasing a game and stuff like that, and I guess it's really easy for me to divorce things that make me cringe a little. And I mean, I don't think this was as cringeworthy as it was for you guys.
Oh, he calls it a mature third-person shooter.
Yeah, I guess it's just really easy for me to divorce marketing speech as I get like 8 billion emails a day about that shit.
There's good marketing speech and bad marketing speech.
I don't like these little pink guys are weird though. They remind me of those Ultimate Muscle wrestlers.
What's the score, Stevens?
Didn't I say 8?
8. He said 8.
Oh, 8? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
gave it a
Gotta
solid
listen,
8.
pay attention, Jones.
Whoa.
Pay attention, Donnie. World doesn't stop and start.
This is an amazing trailer. I can imagine that there are people who watch this show and really like big budget, huge game trailers, and we almost once a week we mention some kind of artsy fartsy game that's very stylish and has a trailer that's tries to really tug on the heartstrings. But man, this one really got me. I really like the mood of this trailer. This is not necessarily a genre. I play a lot of games, but I think I'm going to give this game a try, and I love what they've done.
Oh man, and they put a dog in it.
Were you laughing at the dog or what Brandon was saying? I couldn't tell.
I was laughing at the phrase artsy fartsy because I don't really consider this game artsy fartsy, but then I saw it. Once you said that word, I'm like, you know what, this is an artsy fartsy game. But I'm sold to the game from this trailer. I think this is the first time they showed like what it looks like in gameplay motion.
I think they showed it at PAX.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, there's a little bit of gameplay floating around out there. Cool trailer. I do think all the dudes remind me of the guy who sells you items in Plants vs. Zombies. What's his name? Crazy Dan or something?
Crazy Dave.
Yeah. They got that kind of like upper torso Rob Liefeld strength thing going. But I don't know. I like the lack of eyes. I think is really cool. The dog's awesome. I'm still not entirely sure what to expect from the game. Like they're saying puzzles and stuff, but I mean,
do they all die, or are you in control of that?
I don't know, and I don't know. Are you switching between characters and stuff?
I think you are switching between characters.
But I wonder if what you do in the story affects who actually makes it out, because he says some lived, some didn't.
They're also looking at real wars and real things that happen to influence the story, like the little bridges. They said that was the big thing, is when you were retreating, there was tons of little bridges and you'd have to blow them up, so you couldn't be followed. And the dog is so cool. You know the dog's gonna eat it.
Oh, it's
and then
gonna,
you're
I'm
gonna
gonna
cry.
be bawling, yeah.
Yeah, we can't let Patrick play this game.
Just coming off a trailer that I said that the tone was very bad with the narration, there's a lot of narration, maybe a little more talking than I would have liked. Maybe he could just kind of let the game breathe a little bit, but much better than Sunset Overdrive and more closely fits the tone. Especially, he sounds like his heart's breaking at the end.
No, I mean
He's
you got that like you have that Studs Terkel Greatest Generation, kind of like there's some wood in that voice. There's some mahogany in there.
And the music. It's not
That's just going through.
Hey dude, some guy from Ubisoft here. Let me tell you about Valiant Hearts. This is the next generation of crime.
I have to admit, I think I've kind of had this game under my radar because I keep confusing it. Jones is losing it. I keep confusing it for. Do you remember Vagrant Hearts?
Yes.
The completely lackluster strategy RPG.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
PS2? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it did have a DLC release.
And
as
then
well.
Vagrant Story. I get them all mixed up.
The
Yeah.
next generation of crying just ended me. I couldn't even take that. I'm crying right now from that comment.
The lack of eyes I think is interesting because its eyes are always hard to pull off in games.
You're right.
And
It
it's
helps it a little bit.
it's so emotional.
Yeah.
Well, I remember reading a technical thing about Half-Life 2 where they made sure there were 4 tracking points in Alex Vance's eyes, and that's how they were really able to convey a lot more emotion with the pupils and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
But if you subtract the eyes, you don't have to worry about them being dead. We were looking at that. Did you look at that bad CG movie Food Fight? Don't worry about it. But everyone just looks like they look like dead taxidermed
Polar
animals.
Express style.
I don't want to just suggest that just because we love the style of this game and just because we might want to play this game and it's great when people, lots of hand-drawn looking art, this trailer is also great. The music is great, the narration is great, how little clips we're seeing, and so we can just kind of wonder how big that scene is. We're just given little tiny moments here and there. I think the moments they choose to stretch out and make more dramatic are really well selected. I give it a 9. I love it.
8.3. I do also. I'm really into it. I like it a lot. The things that I would go against it are, it's probably the game, but the trailer seems as flat as the game seems. You know what I mean? There doesn't seem to be a lot of surprise, or I don't know. It all seems like a 2D, very strictly 2D game, and not its just theme, but and gameplay.
Monsieur Stevens?
There's a switch. You shouldn't show flipping a switch in your trailer.
42. No, I can't speak French.
What did you almost say there?
8.7. I think I said carrot dues.
Sure.
I think I actually counted at 42. No, I don't know. Pamplemousse.
Also this week, Drive Club got a cool trailer. Lots of fun racing games coming out for next gen, but it actually announced its release date. It'll be available on October 7th.
Love that launch window.
Only 11 months late.
Super gorgeous game though. Lots of
Pikmin.
really, really pretty footage, and they specifically let you know in the beginning that everything you're seeing was rendered on the PlayStation 4. NHL 15, which might be the first sports trailer that we've talked about on Let's All Go to the Trailers.
Let's do it.
Had a very nice emotional trailer. I love hockey. Little known fact, I used to edit a lot of hockey intros for sports teams. The San Jose Sharks, I remember, was one of them. The New York Islanders. So if you go to the game and you're in the stadium, and on the
you
big
would edit
screen,
that?
be like, "Here we go, guys!" And they'd show a little montage of them going, and a big shark would come in and chomp the screen. I used to work for an animation company, and I would cut the hockey footage. And just a really fun, dynamic sport.
That's a fun fact.
Do not play hockey games. Do not play sports games in general, aside from maybe a baseball game every now and then. But the trailer got me. I definitely got kind of swept up in the glory of the race for the Stanley Cup. So.
And you know what I like about that trailer? It's we're still in the beginning of this generation where they can just show stuff that looks good and that works in a trailer. They'll show the ice and you're like, oh, that ice looks good.
Look at those chairs.
Yeah.
And also, Kyle, congratulations. One of your favorite game series of all time, Pokemon, created the worst trailer I have ever seen in my entire life. Easily one of the top 10 worst trailers I've ever seen. For a pretty exciting announcement.
Exactly,
But make
yeah.
the announcement and then come out with a cool trailer later. Don't use the same sound effect for every title transition that happens in the trailer.
And what kind of insane game announces its box art before anything else? This is frustrating to me. Pokemon has so much money and they spend zero of it on trailers.
yeah, just don't do it. Just don't make a video. I don't know if I've ever said that to a trailer. Like, you shouldn't have done this. Normally I'm like, well, you should have done this better, or this better. Spent a little more money, a little less money, had some context, rewritten the script. This one's like, you should have never even entered the edit bay. You should have just made an announcement. Post on Twitter, throw it up on your Facebook page.
So if you gave it a score, this one would be 0.
This would be a 0 trailer.
Wow.
0. Negative trailer.
That's
this trailer
fun.
doesn't exist. I'm gonna forget about this trailer when this.
Now we
show's
have a
over.
frame of reference, though. Now we know the whole scale. We know where 0 lies.
And if you guys haven't noticed already, for the last 3 episodes, we've also been watching a totally separate trailer, cold, meaning I grab it the morning we record and we haven't watched it yet. And so if you want to check that out, we're going to watch Tropico 5 multiplayer this week. So if you want to check out, it's a totally separate file. You can see it in the description. You can find it on the newest list on the front page, and you can also find it on the Let's All Go to the Trailers show page. And trailer of the week. Usually, the last couple episodes, it's been really clear, but
We're gonna have to fight
I would
for it
give it
this
to
week.
Valiant Hearts.
Me too.
Oh, me too.
I think it's pretty clear.
Well, we didn't even fight over it, but it's usually not that obvious.
Yeah.
But very beautiful trailer. Congratulations, Valiant Arts. You beat out a next-gen, awesome, third-person shooter.
Mature.
Beaten by an
Mature
adventure game.
third-person
Yeah,
shooter.
of course. Get my nomenclature correct. Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Thank you, Mr. Bosman. Hope you guys enjoyed the trailers, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.